Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sideline Sports. I'm John with JB and Jake. How are we all doing tonight, fellas? We got a lot of sports to talk about. How are we doing, Jake?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. I got my Canes game on, so
Oh, John.
0-0.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I can't.
If you're watching it, it's 1-0. I'm watching on the side. It was bad timing. You said that, John. As you say, it's 0-0. It's 1-0 Lightning.
Right,
that's not good. That's not good. We don't want that.
No Lightning.
Well, if the Lightning eliminated the Islanders last year, so I don't think you want the Islanders to play the Lightning again if the Islanders win.
I think JB's got to know that they're not winning this year anyway. You've got to be realistic.
They beat Boston once, and they have home ice.
It's not their year, but if they win, they win. But let's go Lightning.
When is it ever going to be the Islanders' year?
1980, 1979.
I was gonna say we'll go back like a couple of years, back to the 80s dynasty, and then sure that'll be their year, but not anymore.
A little Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, but all right. I was talking about it before the show started. I want to start with the NFL because John and I got to talk about this before the show because JB was having a little technical difficulties. We were talking. Texans are one of the dumbest teams I've ever seen, but they did something funny that I had to bring up. So they have loaded up on running backs, and apparently they decided that they needed more because today they signed Rex Burkhead. And I was talking with John, and I said, when you look at their running back room, it's really stupid because they have way too many guys, and I'm not really sure what their plan is because now they have, in terms of notable names, David Johnson, Philip Lindsay, Mark Ingram, and now having signed Rex Burkhead, they have that. So John and I were talking about it. Are they just planning to go like 4 down straight of running and just switch out guys every single play? Like Johnson will be first down, Lindsay will be second down, Ingram third, and if you need a fourth, you go to Rex Burkhead. Is that their plan?
But are any of them any good anyway? I mean,
yeah, of course. Philip Lindsay's a really good running back.
Really good? That's a stretch.
He's a really good running back. Yeah,
that's a stretch.
He's a little underrated, and Denver was dumb for getting rid of him.
I don't know if I'd call him really good. If you've looked at his stats,
they're all average.
He's okay, but he hasn't like wowed me yet.
You're not going to have a bell. You're going to not going to have a bell cow guy anyway with 4 running backs.
No, I agree, but it's stupid what they're. I don't understand what they're.
I have no idea. Maybe they just think they're not going to have a QB, so might as well sign every running back possible.
If I'm the Texans, it sounds like at least their plan really is sign every single player that you possibly can and hope one of them sticks. I mean, that's what I'm getting from them. Sign everybody.
I don't know what they're doing, but they seem to trade stars and keep marginal guys.
I don't get it. I mean, and of course they're going to ruin a guy like Philip Lindsay who could be a really great running back if he's used properly, but he's not going to be. He's going to get like nothing. And they got washed up David Johnson. That's real helpful.
Yeah, well, what's today? Is today the 1st? Oh, it is the 1st. So today, officially, Julio Jones can be traded.
And Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, anybody can be traded anytime, but that.
I mean, it's where they're really going to be able to be. Yeah.
Yep.
So where are they going? We talk about this every week.
I mean, I'm hearing Seattle might be in the mix for Julio, which would be so awesome to watch. I don't know that it's going to happen because I'm not sure what they're going to give up. But imagine Russell Wilson with Julio, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. I mean, these are dream scenarios, I'm sure, but that sounds amazing.
Well, they don't have a 2022 first rounder, so that's the catch.
Yeah, but I've heard that the Falcons are willing to take like a 2021 second round or a 2022 second round.
Would Atlanta be willing to get a first rounder 2 years from now? Because they want a first. They're not budging on that first.
I don't know. I've heard other rumors. I've heard they're willing to take a second rounder. That's what I mean. I don't know because we don't know anything, but it sounds like they're considering potentially a second rounder. Not necessarily guaranteed, but.
Well, any team in the league should give up a second rounder for Julio.
Oh, I agree.
Easily, you should just part ways with that second as soon as you can.
Oh, I agree, but
If
I don't
that's
know.
asking price.
I mean, if
The
I'm
question
Seattle, you got to take them. I mean, there's no way you don't.
I don't know, but it's a no-brainer.
Well, the thing is, even if you give up a first, if you're Seattle,
Sure.
your first is going to basically be a second anyway, because you're typically one of the best teams in the league, or right up there.
That's fair.
So, and if you add Julio, I mean, your pick is probably going to be like 29,
You're saying it's just
30,
going to be
31,
a late
32.
You're saying it's going to be a late first. So what's the
Yeah.
difference between a late first and a second round? There's not much.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you really have to lose? You're in win now mode.
But their second rounder is going to be a late second rounder, so
Yeah.
it's not going to be an early second rounder.
No.
Which is all the less reason for the Falcons to make a trade like that. That's the problem that they're going to run into is it's going to be a late second round. I think what it should be is that the Falcons set up the trade somehow that, let's say, Seattle finishes in the conference championship. Like, let's say they make it all the way there. If they hit that spot, it becomes let's say a first rounder in 23. But for now, it starts as the 22 second rounder. Maybe they do something like that because they would rather take the late first rounder than the late second rounder at that point. But I think that would be maybe an interesting clause, or maybe if that happens,
if that's possible, yeah.
I'm sure they could do that. I mean, you see it all the time, just like with Carson Wentz, right? Carson Wentz is the compensation pick right now is it might change depending on what the Colts do with Wentz. So it depends. So I could see that, or maybe the trade is it's a second rounder, but if you make the conference championship, even if you lose, it becomes a second, and we get your third rounder as well, or something to that effect. Could be an interesting idea because that's to me the only logical way that they would take such a late second rounder like that.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to get it done. I would have taken would have given a second round. I would have take a second round pick if I was Atlanta, but because of what the market out there for him, you know.
Yeah,
he's 32 and very injury prone. A lot of money against the cap. I mean, I love Julio, but first is too steep. Unless you're a team like Seattle or Kansas City that you're right. You have as good a chance as anybody to win it. But if you're a team like the Browns, I wouldn't give up a first rounder because you're not guaranteed to get to a conference championship. But if you're Kansas City or Seattle, you probably know that
Seattle's guaranteed to get to the conference championship.
I think so.
I don't think so. I don't think it's guaranteed.
If you add Julio, then it's a lock.
I don't know about that because how much is he really going to end up playing is always the question.
And their problem wasn't their offense last year. That wasn't why they were bad, and that's why they
couldn't score in the playoffs.
But it wasn't because of the offense, though, John.
It was the defense. The defense was rough.
The defense got better at the end of the season. That's the thing. Jamal Adams came back, and the defense started to get better.
Did they give up points towards the end of the year?
In the playoffs, they didn't give up much. It was the offense that couldn't do anything.
No, John, no.
I'm with JB on this. That defense was rough. I mean,
it was, but like I said, they played better towards the end of the season. They started to get better. Jamal Adams came back
better from where they were is not saying much. I mean, you have to understand they gave up 30 points, John. 30 points is not good.
But when your defense isn't good, as long as they're opportunistic, they're middle of the pack, you can win a Super Bowl that way.
John, but 30 points in the first round is not good. That's still bad. I'm just
saying, when you have an opportunistic defense, think about when the Saints won the Super Bowl. Their defense wasn't good, but they were opportunistic. Sacks,
but they
turnovers.
weren't good or opportunistic. That was part of the problem. Seattle was bad on every front possible.
Yeah.
In terms of defense.
Just saying, there's got better down the stretch. They played better with Jamal Adams getting healthy.
I just think that for a second round pick, it's worth it, but that's money they better off spent on their defense where they need the help.
I agree. I mean,
but could you imagine Julio covering Julio, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf.
Yeah, it sounds nice, but if your defense sucks in the end, it is still, it's still hard to win.
Yeah.
That's the problem that you face now is, okay, great, but like if they can't win because of the defense, then what does Julio really do for you? It doesn't mean anything if you can't get past that, which is, it's their Achilles heel, and I don't know that they can get past that putrid defense because
you're not going to fix it this year. You're not going to fix it.
No, but right. But the problem is you have to try and do things to at least make some difference.
And you're not going to fix it by spending all that cap space on a number one receiver that you don't need.
It'll make Russell Wilson happy, right?
Yeah, but I think Russell Wilson, at least logically, would be happier winning as opposed to just adding more players. Like, I understand it's nice, but I would rather, if I'm the quarterback, I'd rather win. Winning is what matters to me.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Winning.
I still think Seattle's the best place for him. I think it makes most sense. Or Green Bay. Those are my two ideal choices for Julio.
Well, Green Bay is it's the question of, does that keep Rodgers there? Because if Rodgers leaves, nobody cares. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
But I think it ultimately would keep him. I mean, if the team goes out and get Julio Jones for you,
maybe
I can imagine you'd be like, all right,
I'll just
still
deal
not
with it.
happy with you, but I'll deal with it.
I mean, I told you. I said it last week when we were talking about this. I said if I'm the Packers, I would at least go to Rodgers and be like, hey, we're willing to go try and do this. Would it keep you here at least? Would it make you happy?
If I'm the GM of him, I'm banishing him to the worst team I can send him to. I want nothing. I hope I'd be rooting for him to break his leg every week.
I mean, I get where you're coming from.
There's no respect. You don't do that.
The problem is that's what sports are today. It's not like
we're going to get into some topics. We're going to get into some topics when we get to that. But yeah.
Well, what do you got? I mean, I don't think there's much with the NFL to talk about it. I mean, unless you guys have anything else, there really wasn't much. I admit. I just wanted to throw a Texans thing out because I saw it today, and I just laughed because I was like, this is just. I mean, you're throwing fuel on a fire that's barely burning. I mean, what's the point? Just let it go out. You guys aren't going anywhere. You suck. Just leave it be, please.
So let's talk a little basketball. Let's start with the NBA and the playoffs.
There's a lot.
Before we even get to the basketball part of it.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
What is wrong with fans? Seriously.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd go there because I am.
Listen,
upset is not the right word.
Before we start, there was nobody allowed to go to games last year.
Or part of this year.
Right.
Like certain teams weren't allowing it for part of the year.
It was just the bubble. Nobody got to go. Yeah. This year, no fans.
This year, it started to loosen up, and now it's pretty loose. Right. But yeah.
Finally starting to go to games. Finally happening. You got these idiots throwing water bottles, dumping popcorn, screaming racist epithets. What is wrong with you people?
Spitting on people.
That one pissed me. I think that one made me the most upset was the spitting. Not because I think that was a Knicks fan that did that. But that's not even why. I think that made me most upset, though, because we just had a whole pandemic where the point was wear masks so you don't spit on people, so you don't breathe on people, so you don't do those stupid things. I don't care if that person was fully vaccinated or not. The whole point was you don't want your bodily fluids, your other things like that, those germs, right, to get on people. And what did you do? You went and spit on somebody. I mean, have you not been living in America for the past year and a half? Like,
have you not been living in the world? Like,
really,
on this earth?
Absolutely, you're right. And I just, that one really pissed me off.
What gives these people the right to think of who they are, that they should be doing this? I've never gone to a game and said, maybe I should spit on somebody. Maybe I should throw a water bottle. You know what? I'm behind third base. When the guy comes to catch the third baseman comes to get a foul ball, I'm going to dump my beer on him. No.
I mean, look, we talked about it.
You don't cross.
We talked about it last week. How much other teams we all absolutely despise, hate with all of our body, our minds, everything. We hate them with everything we have. I would never do that. I would scream at them. I'd curse at them, and I admit it. I wouldn't be nice to them because I hate them. but I wouldn't try to inflict pain or do anything that like physically harms them. You know, if it's a Red Sox, I'd be like, "Hey, F you." Right? I'd be honest. No, but
I'm
I'll
not
say
going to
it.
talk about their family. I'm not going to say
of course not.
racist, homophobic.
I will say mean things that nobody wants to be said like that, of course. But I don't want to make somebody like physically harm, like, you know,
there's a line you don't cross,
hurt.
right?
Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
anyone that has listened to any of my podcasts, I tell my Ozzie Guillen story all the time. When he was with the White Sox, I was sitting behind third base, screaming at him all game when he was playing shortstop for the White Sox.
Yeah, heckle him. Right. There's a way to go about it. Absolutely.
And I was ruthless. I mean, you know, you suck, Ozzie. You're the worst.
We all do it.
All night. You know, maybe a curse here or there when there were no kids around.
Sure.
Finally, there was a pitching change. He gave me the finger. I love Ozzie Guillen now.
All right. You know what? But you know what he didn't do? He didn't try to hurt you. He didn't try to spit at you. He didn't throw something at you. He did exactly what you did to him. Screw you. That's what you did. You said screw you in your own way.
Personality.
Yeah, but you said screw you in your own version of ways. Yeah. So did he. He did it the right way, though.
And what I loved about it, he made sure it was under the glove so not everyone got to see it. He did it really inconspicuously.
That's funny.
And, you know, it was kind of cool. Ventura was on the White Sox at the time. He went over him during a pitching change. He gave me, like, the shrug because I was yelling at him, why are you going to talk to him? He's horrible. He sucks. And he's looking at me like, what do you mean? You know, it was a fun interaction.
But that's how you're supposed to heckle players.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you don't cross a line.
You're not going to throw something at a guy. You're not going to spit on him. What is wrong with people? Get these people out of the arena. Ban them for life.
Here's what I'll say. I think because fans we're so cooped up, we're noticing it more, and it is happening more. But fans do this all the time. We just don't really hear about it because fans do it on a consistent basis. It's because fans are now back in the arena, back in the stadium, back wherever they are, and we're like so excited to see them. I think it's a little bit more obvious. I mean, it doesn't make it right.
Where's the line before Russell Westbrook can't go into the stands and beat the hell out of somebody, or Kyrie Irving can't go, if the guy that threw the water bottle at him and go knock him out?
I have no problem with what Ron Artest did at Malice at the Palace. I have zero problem with what Ron Artest did. I just want to be clear. I have zero problem with what Ron Artest did.
I
have no problem with what he did to that fan. No problem. The fan never should have done that to him. Like
the way I see it is this.
You don't walk up to somebody and you don't do that. And if you get popped by a player, you deserved it.
It's simple, and it kind of touches on what JB was talking about. If you can't dish it out, you can't take it, don't dish it out.
Yeah.
Right? If you can't accept the consequences of throwing a bottle at somebody, yelling racial slurs, spitting at someone, if you can't be prepared and possibly handle whoever that person is, whether it's in public on the street or it's at a game and a player, if you can't handle them possibly coming back at you, just don't do it. Because if you did it on the street, right? Hold on. But if I did that to John on the street, I mean, I would think he's in his right to come attack me and beat me up. Why? Yeah. Because I did something to him. I mean, if it's on the street
or whatever,
But think about it. If it's on the street, nobody is that necessarily that stupid. These people wouldn't do this if it's on the street. They're a lot less likely.
They're the same keyboard warriors that say the stuff they do on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on everything online.
Absolutely.
They're the same exact keyboard warriors because they wouldn't do it if that person actually got in their face. They wouldn't do the same thing.
They're too scared.
They're cowards. Yeah,
absolutely.
They're cowards.
It's disgusting.
And not only that, Russell Westbrook was hurt walking to the tunnel, limping with the trainers. He was really injured. And you're willing to dump something on this injured player who's just trying to get back to the locker room. He didn't do anything to you. Like, what is your problem?
And that's not the first time it's happened to Westbrook.
Oh, yeah. But
Westbrook, for whatever reason, is, people are drawn to yelling at him and saying stupid stuff. I mean, listen, if you don't like the guy, whatever, you want to scream, like I said, I'll heckle. Jake submitted to it too, but there's a line.
I'm not ashamed to admit it. I mean, we all do it.
I just say silly things, like funny things, but I don't cross a line. I'm at a baseball game.
I think every fan can admit they will heckle players they don't like or teams they don't. And It's part of the game, and it's what we've talked about, like why the crowds are so important, because fans are going to yell at you and say things you don't like that are not necessarily polite. But that's a line you don't cross, because there's a line between just heckling and then just being an outright jerk.
I heckled a guy at an Orioles game on the opposing team. I think he was playing for the A's or something. And I heckled him for so many innings. I said something, and I just kept saying the same thing over and over, every inning when he would come out. Eventually, he turned around and he just laughed. Like, he started laughing.
Sure.
He turned around with his – he was like in right field, and he has his hands on his knees, and he just goes like this, and he just starts laughing. And I was like – I started clapping. I was like, all right, I got a reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy.
I'll admit,
it was fun.
I've gone to a Rangers game at Madison Square Garden, and I hate Sidney Crosby. So I'm yelling at him. And the whole game I'm calling him a crybaby. Oh, you suck. Oh, you're such a big baby. He never said anything. I didn't even hear me. I don't really care. But I didn't say, hey, screw your family. I just said, I'm gonna make fun of you because I don't like you. But I admit to it, it's a natural thing to want to make fun of a player like that. I mean,
the players hear you. They're just. Of course. They're professionals, and they're
most of the time they don't care
to tune it out until they hear racist things about their family. Yes. Then it's like, come on, man! Like, seriously, like you can joke around, but like
it's too far. Yeah.
So and then
there's
the
no
fan
reason for it.
was there a fan
last
night that ran on the court in the
in
the game and tried to slap the backboard. And I think it was Dwight Howard or somebody like that. Walked up to him and just got in his face and looked at him like, are you serious, man? Like, it was one of those things where I'm like, man, I would not want to be that guy laying on the ground with Dwight Howard just staring down at me. Staring down at me like, what the hell's wrong with you, man?
I mean, like, what? All of a sudden we have this, and I don't know. I mean, was this going on all this time? We just never spoke about it?
The thing is, because I just thought about this when we started talking about it. It's the same exact thing as remember when we had that fad, was it last year or the year before, where people were licking ice cream at grocery stores and then putting it back? If you remember that from a couple years ago, they would. Hold on. Yeah. They would open the container of ice cream, lick it, and put it back. Then more people started doing it because then you got your 15 seconds of fame. So it was like, oh, that person did it, I'm going to do it. I've noticed these things when one person does it, another person does it, then it just becomes a thing where more and more people want to get on TV or they want to get recognized for 15 seconds or whatever. For being an idiot. They don't care if they're being an idiot. They get recognized. Right. It's the same thing at the games. One person did it. Next person's like, I'm going to be the guy that calls up his friends when he's going to the game. Guys, I'm going to be the guy tonight that throws something. I'm going to one-up the guy that spit last night. I'm going to throw popcorn or a water bottle at this guy. Oh, you won't do it, man. I'll give you $20. Like it's fans like that. I guarantee stuff like that where it's somebody trying to one-up the next person. That's just how these fads work. It's pathetic. Yeah, I don't agree with it, but it's kind of how these things work.
When it comes down to it, an athlete's a person. You want to yell at them, whatever, yell. But, anything physical, I don't condone it. I'm a Yankee fan. I don't condone when you see the games at Yankee Stadium when they're throwing all sorts of stuff.
Right.
It's not cool.
I'm perfectly okay with the chants, FL Tuve. I'm cool with that. It's not nice, but that's what happens when you're at the stadium. It's going to happen. If you try and hurt somebody, that's where I'm like, what are you doing? Like, that's not
game,
right.
Man. Like, it's a game. Like, just because I wear a Hurricane jersey, like, you want to kill me? Like, what? How logically, if we're out at a supermarket and you see me with a Cane jersey, do you want to like kill me? Like, why? Because I wear a jersey, like Giants jersey, Dodgers. Whatever. Like,
maybe 10 years ago, opening day or opening weekend. Guy wore a Giants jersey, Dodger Stadium, got stabbed in the parking lot, died a couple of days later.
It's terrible.
That rivalry is horrible.
It is. But it's like, think about it logically. It's like, would you kill somebody for wearing a piece of clothing you don't like? Like, no. How does that – it makes no sense.
How is that acceptable?
How – like, in your mind, what makes you think, I'm going to beat this guy up or kill this guy because he's wearing something different. I mean, isn't that
Jake's wearing Hoagie Fest. We're gonna have to go take him out.
yeah? Like what?
To Jersey we go.
It's like
More than welcome.
it's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with like we're trying to eliminate with racism. Not to get all that, but the same thing we're trying to eliminate with racism. Just
You're
because
right.
somebody looks different, you want to hurt them? Why? Just because. I mean, what does it matter? Like, who cares?
People are small-minded. They all want to have they all want to be tough and have their minute of fame, and they get nowhere.
Yeah.
But
I think this is the important stuff.
I think this is something that's been happening though, and I think it's just because fans have been cooped up for so long. We're noticing it more because we're not used to having fans, and B, fans are like, "Oh my God, we're back in the stadium. It's time to do something really stupid."
Yeah,
I don't agree with it.
Listen, I don't want to hear nothing when somebody gets a bottle thrown at their head and they go after the fan. I don't want to hear nothing about that.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I think that's what people are doing.
Nope.
You know, and I get that they're supposed to be professional, but if you're coming after my life, throwing a bottle, and if the bottle's full, that could hurt you.
Yeah.
And you're talking about millions of dollars a guy could lose if he gets hit in the head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could also seriously injure him just personally.
If he gets hit in the eye.
Yep. I don't want to hear nothing if a guy goes after a fan with that.
I'm more than okay with it. I agree.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right. Now let's talk about some basketball. We got the Lakers against the Suns. Probably the best series going on right now. But as usual, what we all expected, Glass Joe's hurt.
I was waiting for that.
It was funny because we talked about it, and he is officially out for tonight's game 5.
I mean, is that a shock to anyone that he would get hurt?
No, it's just it's funny you say it because I'm pretty sure we said on the show how long until he gets hurt.
There's three guys. We said
who's gonna, when is he gonna get hurt? It wasn't if, it's when.
There's 3 guys in the NBA playoffs that are always that way. It's AD, it's CP3, and it's Joel Embiid.
Well, Embiid's hurt too.
It is always those 3.
Always. I mean, these guys, I don't get it.
Death, taxes, and those 3 getting injured. That's the 3 most certain things in life, man. Is that like all 3 of them are soft as toilet paper.
That's why when the Lakers were going after AD, I didn't get it. I really didn't, because the guy he may have an amazing amount of talent, but he can't stay healthy for anything. And he gets the weirdest injuries.
He doesn't get injured like a normal human being. He gets like random stuff that you're like, wait, what happened?
A cracked fingernail, a cut on the ear. You're a professional athlete.
He's got a cut on his lip.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Is he a boxer?
He's got a pierced ear. Not related to the game, mind you. He went out and got his ears pierced, but now he's got a pierced ear.
His feelings are hurt. Yeah.
I just never seen a guy so soft.
Maybe he'll be out for feelings being hurt, and
that's what I'm waiting
miss
for.
A game for that. No, I'm sorry, it's LeBron.
Somebody looked at him.
Sorry, that's LeBron James. Sorry.
Like LeBron got what he wanted. He wanted AD. So
you can't complain.
You reap what you sow. So are the Lakers going to be able to win this series, or is Phoenix going to win when AD not playing tonight to take control and go 3-2?
There's no way they win without AD. They have to. That's the only thing they have is those 2. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, is those 2. They have nice role players, but what else they really have that can keep up with the Suns?
I said it from the beginning when we made a playoff prediction. I said they're going to definitely win the series. It may not be, a sweep. I knew it wouldn't be. I knew it would be tough, but I said I'm no question, 100%. I'm definitely taking the Suns, and I'm sticking with it. I mean, it's a better, younger team. I think that's what it comes down to. Is they have veteran leadership, but overall, it's a younger team by a considerable margin. I feel like, and you got Glass Joe, and you got old man LeBron. I mean. I'm not trusting that.
For the Lakers to win, LeBron's going to have to be some sort of special, and he has a way of doing that, but he has nobody with him. John, if you're available to get to Phoenix tonight, I mean, maybe you can play some quality minutes tonight.
He's going to have to do what he did back in Cleveland. He's going to have to
you're like 6'5".
turn into Cleveland, LeBron.
You're like 6'5", man. I think you could do it. I mean, you got some height, man.
It's just amazing to see how, it was the wrong guy to go after, but I think the Suns will end up winning in 6 or 7.
Yeah. And you know what? To them, it wasn't the wrong guy to go after because they won a championship, so they're happy. I know they want to win more, but right at the end of the day, when you look back on it, did you win a championship? Did you ultimately meet the goal at one point?
Yeah,
yes.
but for LeBron James, it's not good enough because you're not going to catch Jordan that way.
I know that, but
That's
I'm saying
what he wants.
As a franchise, it was the
last
right move.
year's
That's how they're going to look at it.
But when we look back at that Lakers championship, is that a real championship?
It's a Mickey Mouse championship.
In a bubble where the schedule was changed and not all the teams were there. You didn't play the full schedule.
You didn't have to travel. You didn't have to travel to other teams' state. You know what I mean? You didn't have to. You didn't have to deal with fans. You didn't have to deal with nothing.
I still count it. I mean, a championship's a championship.
No,
I know.
On the books, but is it a real championship? Yeah,
I know what you mean. I mean, I count it, but I get it.
I count it as a half a championship.
So, Jake, what's going on with the Knicks? Why are they having so much trouble in Atlanta and making me look bad here?
Offense isn't really. Julius Randle decided he's not showing up.
Can you repeat that first sentence again?
Your team got swept.
Hold on, we're talking about
your team got swept. At least my team won a game.
I just want you to repeat the first sentence.
I at least won a game.
They have no offense.
We're gonna get to his team in a second. Don't worry.
They have no offense.
I didn't say they have no offense.
He said they
Julius
can't
Randle.
score. That's their problem. They have no offense.
I said Julius Randle.
Huh. What did I say last week? I said the Knicks' problem is they're just like the Bulls.
And John,
Tom Thibodeau, great defense, but they lack the firepower to keep up with teams in the playoffs.
Didn't you also say that the Heat would advance and win the finals, and they couldn't even beat the Bucks, and they lost 4 straight? They did, didn't they?
We're talking Knicks.
And now he's going to talk about injuries when he talks about the Heat.
We're talking Knicks.
I put money on it.
We're currently on the Knicks.
We're going to get
no offense.
We're going to get to the team that
my concern going into this series
I'm just making sure it's well documented and known. You were expecting a championship and you won nothing.
My concern with the Knicks is that they going into this series was that they could not score. Tom Thibodeau led team. I saw it when he had the Bulls. Fantastic defense. They had Derrick Rose, who they relied heavily on. They didn't have a whole lot of scoring outside of that. They had to grind out games, play tough physical defense, and make timely shots. This is the same exact blueprint with the Knicks. Same exact thing. Who does he have? He has his guy, Derrick Rose. Tom Thibodeau loves his defense, which is great. I give him credit. They've had a fantastic season. But they can't keep up in the playoffs unless they score. And that's their Achilles heel, and that's ultimately why they're going to be out.
Hey, at least we won a game. I'll take a game.
No, I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying this is what I said before the series started.
John, you know that.
So let's look back at this year as a Knicks fan, Jake, because you're a Knicks fan.
Sure, I am.
500 was a stretch for them. They weren't even supposed to be
that good.
I think
that's a realistic
preseason projection was about 20, 25 wins.
That's fair.
If I'm correct.
I believe so. That's fine.
How do you feel getting the 4 seed and 1 win in the playoffs against the 5 seed Hawks?
I'm happy, and there's one simple reason. It makes us a destination again. We made the playoffs. This team looks better than what it was. We have a chance to at least land a superstar. That's all I want, because that's how you really start taking the next step. This year, I didn't expect much, so they exceeded my expectations and then some. They made New York a worthy destination to actually go, where they actually have a chance at a legitimate superstar in free agency this year. They actually will be able to sign someone. Like, people are not going to say, oh, let's just go to Brooklyn because they look good. The Knicks are actually a legitimate spot. They're like, yes, let's go there now. The Knicks have done what they needed to do because they knew they weren't winning. I knew they weren't winning a championship with this roster.
They have to get firepower, man. They have to get offense.
But they can do that now, and that's why I'm happy, because
they don't have any. They don't have any offensive firepower.
I told you guys before the playoffs started. I said if they win the first round, that's all they do. I knew they were not getting past.
Of course, they're not getting past the
right.
But so or whatever.
I knew that the expectation at that point, after they exceeded my original expectations before the season even started, was nowhere past the first round if they get past the first round. But the truth is, a star player is going to say, New York, they made the playoffs. They were a rising team. I want to be there.
They didn't just make the playoffs. They got the 4 seed.
Right, exactly. Right, but that's my point.
But aren't you a little disappointed? Aren't you a little disappointed, like how hype everybody was for them, and then they've been nothing but flat this series?
No, not really.
It's been a completely different team than what you saw all regular season. They've been nothing but flat.
I'm not disappointed because I didn't have high expectations in the playoffs as is. I thought maybe we'll get past the first round.
Didn't you expect a competitive series at least?
Yeah, but
it hasn't been competitive.
I'm disappointed big time. They're down 3-1, so for me, they're not going to win the series. So
no.
If it was 2-2, I feel a lot better.
Right, but if they win this next game tomorrow,
but they haven't even
make it a competitive series.
They haven't even been in this thing. Like the Hawks just
3-1 making it 3-2. I don't see it as competitive.
The Hawks have just been the better team.
Hold on, but if they lose the series, if the series was 2-2 and they lose the series 4-2, you might consider that competitive. If they lose the series 4-2, but they were down 3-1, it's still the same result.
You also have to look at the context of
I know.
It's the same results, but it's a different result.
No, I know, but I'm saying I still would consider it somewhat competitive. And the Knicks haven't given up no fight. The truth is their first 2 games were great. I mean, the first game was down to 1 shot. That's very competitive. The second game, the Knicks were great. They looked much better. And then the last few games, I mean, it wasn't great, but it hasn't been total. I mean, the last game was a bit of a blowout. But
game 4, they were not.
Game 3 wasn't like, oh my God, they look terrible. They haven't looked amazing, I admit, but I think they've been relatively competitive, and I think Atlanta's just a better team. And I believe that from the beginning.
I thought the Knicks were a better team going into the series. Like overall, I thought they were a better team, but I was concerned about the lack of offense.
I kind of like the Knicks. I said I had the Knicks in 5. That's to begin, and I mean, Atlanta showed up. Trae Young, he's using this platform to show how good he is.
And give Clint Capella, guys like that, a lot of credit because Clint Capella's played really well too. That was a really good addition that they added.
I'm not counting the series out yet, just because the Knicks have been exactly that, resilient all season. That's what they've been really known for in defying odds. I'm not saying it's likely they win. But I'm not going to say like it's impossible, and I give them a little credit, a little bit. Like they have a small, but still a chance.
So let's switch gears now to the first round series that's over. John's Miami Seabiscuits.
One sec. While you guys keep talking, I'm gonna plug in my computer real quick because
of course he's gonna go. He's gonna go away just as we're about to destroy the fact that his Heat lost in 4 games. Didn't even win a game.
Let's talk about the Seabiscuits. So they lost to a team and got swept by a team that's garbage in the playoffs. What does that mean to you, John?
So the Heat, like I said last time, I believe we talked about it last week when they had lost game 1 or 2. I think it was game 2. They were losing. They were getting blown out, I think. Anyway, I said that they didn't bring it. Game 1 they did, but even still, like Butler and Adebayo and their energy and their body language, they didn't look like they wanted to be there. They look like, our season's already over. We don't really want to be here. We just want to go and golf or whatever. Like the team looked disinterested. There was no, you know what I mean? Like I said last week. Last year there was this intensity. There was this, dog. They're going to grind out every game, and even if you beat us, you're going to earn every single possession. I got none of that this year. The team looked disinterested. They did not look cohesive. Tyler Herro was barely playing any minutes in the playoffs, which he's a good young player. He had a rough year. He's only 21 years old. You can't give up on a guy that fast just because he had a rough year. He's barely an adult. Anyway, like it wasn't the same team from the gritty team from last year. And I don't know why. I don't know why the team looked disinterested. I don't know why Jimmy and Bam were not playing like themselves. And I'm not just saying like performance-wise. I'm saying like the energy that they normally give. There was none of that from none of the roster.
Question, John, though, you lost to a team that doesn't win in the playoffs. How do you feel about that?
I think that's more on the Heat. They just did not show up. And like I said, I don't know why. I've been wondering about that report that came out before the series about how Jimmy Butler and the coaching staff have had issues getting along. And everybody kind of swept that aside.
The Hall of Fame coach? The Hall of Fame head coach?
The coaching staff. They just said coaching staff. They didn't say who. The article didn't say who. It just said coaching staff as a whole. Jimmy and them have had disagreements. So everybody kind of swept that aside, saying, well, it's the playoffs, it's Jimmy Butler. But now it's like, with the team playing how they did, not showing up at all, not even game one, even losing in overtime, team didn't really show up. You have to kind of wonder, what was that all about with Butler and the coaching staff? Like, why does that bring the entire team down? So I've been wondering that myself. Obviously, we won't know until, you know how these things work. Something leaks out during free agency, and I don't know. I've been wondering since the Heat basically lost game 2 that first quarter. That was when the series ended. The team looked lifeless the entire series, and I don't know why. I would like to know why. I would like to know some context on why they just look like they didn't care. I wonder why myself.
I only have one question, John. You said this was a team that would win a championship. They'd make it back to the finals. They lost in 4 games.
To a team that doesn't win in the playoffs.
John, they didn't even win a game.
Why. I explained why.
No, that's not the question. But how could you make such a bold-faced prediction and then have them not even win a game?
Because
at least my Knicks have won a game.
I expected them to play hard like they did last year. Play that no matter what happens. Even if we get swept, every game is going to be a dogfight down to the last possession type of game. And I didn't get that in any game. I didn't see that from any energy of that. And that to me is why they didn't win any games. There was none of that. There wasn't that resilient team that, we're a little less talented overall as a group, but our heart and soul and our next man up mentality is going to help carry us, in games.
But did you really ever think they were going to win the series? Or they were going to win the championship?
Yeah, definitely did. I don't think the Bucks are flukes to me. I don't think they're a good team. They had a Drew Holiday big deal, but they're going to get smashed right out of the playoffs. I mean, come on. You go up against the Nets. They're going to go up against the Nets. They're going to
they win a championship just to prove John wrong. Even though I don't believe they will, I would laugh so hard if they win a championship and prove John wrong.
Do you really think Chris Middleton or Drew Holiday?
I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying it would be hilarious to watch them win and prove you wrong like that.
Do you think Drew Holiday can handle Kyrie Irving? Or do you think Chris Middleton can handle James Harden?
No.
Do you think who was the guy that hit like 7 threes in game 2 against us? I don't even remember his name. Do you think that guy's going to do it again against the Nets? That's not going to happen. They got Giannis. That's it. They'll shut down Giannis, and then the Bucks will get beat 4-1. That's what'll happen. They'll be up.
Give them a win.
The Nets will be up 3-0, and they'll get that gentlemanly win. They'll be like, all right, we'll hand you a game, and the Nets will get another home game for some money, and then they'll knock you out of the playoffs. Bucks aren't a very good team. They're overrated.
Overrated.
Yeah,
nice.
Overrated.
Yeah, but JB, not as overrated as the Heat.
I've been thinking about this. Do the Nets have an easier path to a championship right now than any team maybe ever? I mean, think about this. Lakers are about to get knocked out. That's going to be gone. Sixers, Joel Embiid's hurt with right knee soreness, so that team's probably going to end up botching it because of that. So that was one of your threats. You get the Bucks, who are overrated, so you don't got to worry about the Heat. So now you avoid the Heat. Sixers with Joel Embiid. You don't got to worry about
the Heat
anymore.
who went winless in the playoffs.
Who do you got to worry about in the East?
I just want to remind you about that.
The only thing the Nets were worried about playing the Heat was James Harden was going to go party at South Beach and mess up the chemistry.
Look, going into the playoffs, the dark horse to beat the Nets was the Heat.
No.
That was going into the playoffs. So anyway, back to my story.
I didn't think it was.
Then don't got to worry about the Sixers. Now you don't got to worry about the Heat.
Thank you, Mr. Brewster. Finally, somebody that's
Lakers
spoken.
are going to get knocked out. Glass Joe is not even playing tonight.
I agree that the Lakers will get knocked out.
Lakers are about to go bye-bye.
But
and then
the Bucks are not overrated. I don't know what.
Who are you going to play in the West? Are you going to play Luka and the Mavs? Oh, it's just Luka. I'm sorry. There's nothing else there. Nope, they're not getting to the finals. Who are you going to play? The Clippers? No, they choke. Lakers? Nope, they'll be out. And then CP3, if the Suns get there, guess what? CP3 will end up getting hurt. He always does.
What about the Jazz?
The Jazz always choke, man. Have the Jazz ever won a championship? No.
John.
What about Dame time?
Hold on. Time out. John, the Bucks always choke. The Bucks always choke. They didn't this year, so apparently they don't always choke.
Well, they haven't gotten anywhere. Didn't
they got past the first round. They
get past the first round last year?
That's not the point. The point is to claim that they always choke would imply that they would have lost to the Heat again.
Well, they lost in the second round last year, so lose in the second round this year.
Doesn't matter. They beat the Heat. That was the point.
They'll fall apart.
If you beat a team that was able to get your number last time, it's not
Congrats.
choking.
You won your NBA Finals, Bucks. Your first since what? The 70s or whatever? Good for you. That's your NBA Finals.
Wow.
That, right there.
Look, Brewster didn't listen to
this.
my explanation on why.
It doesn't matter what your explanation was.
Yeah, my explanation was a good explanation.
Hold on. Because, John, your explanation was after you had told us that the Bucks would lose to the Heat, and then
they should have if the Heat showed up.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but they didn't.
Should have.
Tom Brady should have beat the Giants, and Tom Brady should have gone undefeated, but he didn't. History says otherwise.
We'll find out why.
History says what happened. I don't care what you have to say. What should have happened didn't.
We'll find out the offseason what happened between Butler and the coaching
I'll
staff.
tell you what happened. Butler couldn't do it all again. Last year was a fluke.
It wasn't a fluke.
Couldn't have said it better. I was literally saying it
wasn't a fluke.
Yes, it was. John,
we're just going to leave that up there for a few minutes.
They beat the Bucks. The only game the Bucks won last year was when the Heat were up 3-0. Yeah. And then they beat the Celtics.
Hold on. But John, let me pose it this way. They won and did very well last year. They got crushed this year. Those are very contradictory. It is more likely.
Well, they also got rid of Jay Crowder. So that was a big loss.
The point is, it is more likely for one team to catch lightning in a bottle and go really far than for a great team to lose that badly like they did. That's my point. I think it's more likely that a team will catch lightning in a bottle one year, look amazing, and then the next year return to earth and see what they really are. Because I think this year is what we saw, what the Heat really were. And I think last year was just they were really great. They caught lightning in a bottle.
So
no one could stop them.
Bucks soft? Because why would you check out mentally unless you're soft?
Bucks are soft.
I'm not denying that the Bucks
there
are
we
soft.
go.
I'm not making an argument about the Bucks.
Overrated Bucks.
Not overrated.
You can't be mentally soft.
Overrated and soft are two very different things.
You can't be mentally soft.
Those are John. We're talking about
overrated if you're mentally
We're talking
soft.
about apples and oranges now. Because overrated is how good they seem to be compared to other teams, right? When you rate someone,
aren't the Bucks this good every year?
Hold on.
Right.
Every year they are great, but it doesn't mean they're good. Hold on. They're not overrated. Rated-wise, they're one of the top teams. That's fair to say. Their placement is one of the top. That's fair. They are not a good playoff team is also fair to say. They are mentally soft in the playoffs is also fair to say. But regular season, before the playoffs start, they're nowhere near overrated. They're a great team. When it comes to the playoffs, everybody knows.
Out in that bubble, though.
Hold on.
That's their fault.
When it comes to the playoffs, everybody knows the Bucks aren't going anywhere. I think that's a very fair statement. But they're not overrated because we know they're a great regular season team.
You only play who's on your schedule. That's what the Heat did. They played on who was their schedule. And it's not their fault that if teams checked out. That's their problem. You're professionals. Don't check out.
They're home. They're home.
This is true. Miami had one really great season. That was what it was.
They're going to get Kawhi this offseason, and that's what's going to happen.
Because that's what you need, another soft guy playing for you.
Exactly.
I'm just telling you what's going to happen. They're going to get Kawhi.
It doesn't mean anything. They're still going to
But
lose.
why would you want Kawhi? Why
I
Kawhi?
wouldn't.
Why not? I mean, the guy who, has been one of the best players in the league for years. Can't put Toronto on the map. Won him a championship single-handedly.
Got a lucky shot.
It was a fluke.
It was a fluke?
It was a fluke.
They were again, another example. A team
you can't
that got
take away his title. He won.
Did I say take away his title? Did I say that? No. I said it was a fluke. He couldn't have done it again.
4 times before
he's proven he can't do it
Sixers,
again.
That was an all-time great shot. That was one of the best shots I've ever seen.
Still lucky.
But it was one of the best shots ever.
I don't know.
That was a historically great shot.
That's a little bit of a stretch. The point was, if he was so great and he could bring a team to a championship so well, why hasn't he brought LA to a championship?
He brought the Spurs and the Raptors.
He wasn't the only one of the Spurs, though.
He was the guy that he was the reason that the Spurs beat us.
But he had a good team around him.
Because he single-handedly shut down LeBron James. He single-handedly shut down LeBron in that finals.
But he still had a good team around him. That's the point.
But he was the reason. If it wasn't for Kawhi, LeBron would have done whatever he wanted. He was the only guy on that team that could stop
John, you have to understand that team was still very good. I understand he shut down one guy, but he wasn't the only guy doing everything.
But that's one big guy. It's LeBron James. If you shut down LeBron James on any given team, that team's not winning a championship.
You're missing the point, though. They still had Tim Duncan.
I mean, that's not like stopping Chris Middleton. You know what I mean? Like that's
John. That
LeBron
team still had Tim Duncan on it. They still had Tony Parker. They had.
But those guys were past their prime.
It doesn't matter. But those players were still able to contribute and help win. I understand Kawhi shut down LeBron.
Oh yeah.
But if he shut down LeBron and the rest of the team sucked, they wouldn't have won.
I'm just saying, like, wherever he's gone. And he's won two titles with 2 different teams. Like, that's pretty impressive.
And one team he truly carried. The other team, he made a big difference, but had a great team still around him.
Oh, he made a gigantic
So my
difference.
point is, if he's so great at carrying teams, why hasn't he done it in LA?
Because it's the Clippers. Clippers will never win with anybody. It's the Clippers, man. It's like the Browns.
Shouldn't matter if he's such a great player.
There's just something about teams like the Browns, teams like the Clippers. They'll never win. Just not happening. It's his
good,
aura.
John.
It's his aura, man.
Good, he should be able to carry any team.
But they're not one of those teams.
Yes, they were.
No.
The curse of the Bambino. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not talking about a curse. I'm not talking about curse. I'm just saying one of those teams that always find a way to screw it up. There's
that sounds like being cursed.
No, I don't look at. I've never looked at the Red Sox. I've never looked at the Red Sox like that. I've always looked at the Browns.
Everybody said
Clippers.
They are the team that's cursed and they can't do anything about it.
Well, I have teams that I look at and I'm like, it's just like the Jets. It's just Jets being the Jets. They're never going to win in my life. Browns, never going to win in my life. Clippers, never going to win in my life.
The Jets suck because they don't add good players. The Browns have a legitimate chance at winning a championship nowadays because they're actually a good team.
The Jets had a great team for years. They went to a couple conference championships.
When in our lifetimes have they really had a great team?
Ryan and Mark Sanchez. You remember that team?
No, that wasn't a great team.
Yes, it was with Darrelle Revis. You were too young.
I don't think that was a great team.
I don't know if I would call that a great team. They were a good team.
Oh, they were fantastic.
No,
they were.
They should have went to it. That team should have went to a Super Bowl. Their quarterback wasn't good.
Exactly. So they're not a great team.
Quarterback wasn't. It doesn't matter about that. The Ravens were a historically great team in 2000. They didn't have a great quarterback. They didn't even have a good one.
Their defense was historically great, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what do you mean maybe? That's one of the best defenses of all time.
When I say maybe, I mean you can say like their defense was, but not the team.
Right. Like, the Ravens team was fantastic.
Like the 2007 Patriots, a historically great team because both phases of the ball were great. They actually legitimately made some history. That's fine. The Giants are not a historically
That team was a great team. I'm a Dolphins fan, and I hate the Jets.
The
but
Giants
I give them
in 2007-8
I love this guy.
are not a great team. They
I'm
made
a
historically great
and I'm giving
run.
Jets credit. So take your credit where you can get it. That was a great team. You had great players on defense. Should have gotten to a Super Bowl with that team at least once. But you're the Jets. It's not going to happen.
John, Mark Sanchez is garbage.
Well, you don't have to have a great quarterback necessarily. Look at the Ravens. Ravens won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer.
But I'm not going to say the Ravens were a great team either.
I agree.
That 2000 team?
They won the Super Bowl.
Their defense was incredible.
And
I've said it over and over again.
Defense a 2,000-yard rusher in Jamal Lewis and Jonathan Ogden, one of the best linemen in the history of the game.
I am not going to call that a great team.
Are you familiar with that team? Because if you're not, please go back and look at that team. Go watch NFL films right now. You need to get off of here. Go watch that team because that's one of the best teams in the history of the NFL.
You're
2000
nuts.
Ravens.
You're nuts.
They would have lost to.
No. They beat your Giants. They literally stomped your Giants.
Yeah, the Giants weren't. I don't think they were very good that year. I think
they would have lost to half the Giants Super Bowl teams.
No, I don't think so. They would have murdered Eli Manning in those Super Bowls.
I
they would have destroyed him.
I was not talking about Eli Manning Giants. I was talking
We're talking about LT.
What I think of. You say your Super Bowls and you want two with Eli.
He said half. And half of them have one of the greatest defensive players of all time.
And there was no comparison. There was the 85 Bears and the 86 Giants, probably two of the best defenses in NFL history, back-to-back years.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens are better.
No.
I think you're on crack.
No, not even close.
You don't think so?
No.
Not even close.
Go back and watch that season.
I think you need to go to NFL film.
I hate the Ravens. Look, I hate the Ravens. I hate the Jets, but I give credit where credit's due. The Ravens were one of the best teams we've ever seen in NFL history. That 2000 team, historically great.
I don't think
I have to give them their due, man. And I hate the Baltimore Ravens. I hate them with a passion. But, I give teams their credit, historically great teams. I just, I gotta. Yeah, I'm a football fan.
I think their defense was one of the greatest of all time.
Gosh, yeah. That was
but the rest of the team, no.
Nobody's beating that team. Ray Lewis.
The rest of the team, no.
Nobody's beating them.
So the 86 Giants with Phil Simms go up against the 2000 Ravens.
They would get stomped. I think Phil Simms would probably lose his leg.
Wow.
They would get stomped, boot stomped. Yep.
Wow.
They wouldn't even come close.
Okay.
Wouldn't even come close. It'd be a defensive struggle, but ain't no offense for you guys happening in that game.
No, I would rather Phil Simms over Trent Dilfer.
Oh, yeah, but, you got to stop.
So there you go.
You got to stop Jamal Lewis, who's a 2,000-yard rusher. John, how do you stop that?
You have to stop Lawrence Taylor. Explain that.
Run the ball with Jamal Lewis. But you weren't even born yet, right?
Lawrence Taylor will take over games.
Hold on. You weren't born when the Super Bowl happened, were you?
No, I was.
Were you?
I believe so.
When were you born?
July of 2000.
Okay, so you weren't born yet.
And just because I wasn't born doesn't mean anything.
The conversation we're having, Jake wasn't even on the earth.
So what were you born, John?
What's your point?
So were you even born yet? Because we're talking about
during the Super Bowl, the Ravens Super Bowl. Yeah, I was 10 years old.
So you weren't alive to see Lawrence Taylor then. So you can't talk about him either.
I don't remember him, but I was alive when he was playing some of his years.
So exactly the point. You can't, based on your logic, you can't talk either.
I'm just saying, Ravens-wise.
John, I have this lovely thing called Google and YouTube, which, if you didn't realize, we happen to actually use for our show. I wasn't sure if you know that by now, but we do. We have a show on YouTube.
We're on YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea.
So, there's that, and that's where you can find these things called NFL highlights. So even if you weren't around to see it live, you can go back and watch it, which is what I do.
They made Mark Burnell look like a mediocre quarterback. They absolutely destroyed that man. They broke that man's soul. And Mark Burnell was a really good quarterback in this league, but they made that man
That's what great defenses do.
I remember that season they made him look like a mediocre quarterback. And I liked Mark Brunell. That Jaguars team had a lot of really good years, but I remember that season they made Mark Brunell look soft. And that's not a guy that I would say is soft.
But John, my point was their offense was not good, which makes my case for a not so great, like not the greatest team, but one of the greatest teams of all time because Trent Dilfer didn't even start all the games.
Put up a poll. You should put up a poll. And
John, do you know how many games Trent Dilfer started though?
Oh, I know Trent Dilfer was historically bad.
He started 8 games, dude.
That's what makes that team even better is that they won despite having that guy as their quarterback.
That's my point. He was not good.
He's terrible.
Right. So terrible. You can't. So my point is, you can't try and argue that it's one of the greatest teams of all time when the quarterback, which is arguably the most important position on a football team, was basically a piece of garbage.
He was.
Exactly. So that's my point. It was a great defense, but
he was just
great teams need great quarterbacks are what help make great teams. Why was Tom Brady's led Patriots so great? Defenses were really good at times. On certain years, of course.
He always had a great defense. Always.
Exactly. Yeah. But Tom Brady is also one of, if not the greatest quarterback of all time.
Right.
Why are the Colts? Why was their championship such a great team? Again,
they beat Rex Grossman.
A strong defense.
They beat Rex
and
Grossman.
A good quarterback. Another great quarterback, though.
But you can go down the list of.
What's your point?
He's one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Oh, but Trent Dilfer was on the 2000s Ravens.
And he's
one of the worst quarterbacks of all time. But that's one of the greatest teams of all time, apparently.
He won a Super Bowl, man. The Bears lost that Super Bowl to the Colts. We're talking about Peyton Manning winning. Peyton Manning's Super Bowls consisted of his defense carried him against the Panthers.
Yes.
Because he did nothing. He was a shell of his former self.
Absolutely.
And his other Super Bowl he won, he had Rex Grossman he had to face. What happened in the other 2 Super Bowls when he faced great quarterbacks? He got his butt kicked.
Exactly my point. The defense won a Super Bowl.
And by the Saints.
The defenses won a Super Bowl. That was my point the entire time.
I'm just saying. Peyton Manning won 2 Super Bowls, and
I know
he
what
really
he
had
did.
to earn either of them. And the time he faced great quarterbacks in Super Bowls, he got his butt kicked.
Yeah, but you could say that for a lot of players.
We're talking Peyton Manning. We're talking.
I know, but you're trying to make the argument that he didn't earn a title.
He didn't.
A lot of players don't earn a title. A lot of defenses took over games and just made it so the offense had to do a certain amount.
I feel like we're way off topic.
We are.
Hey, I'm just talking some football, man. I'm just talking some history.
Well, because
it's nice to reminisce.
Talk, because once again, the Heat got swept. That was the point of this whole conversation.
Yes, the Heat got swept. In case you forgot, John.
So there's more playoffs. There's still the Mavericks and the Clippers happening. There's still
we'll get there.
The Grizzlies.
The Wizards, they went to a new tactic that we haven't seen in a while. The Hack-a-Shack, which is now called Hack-a-Simmons. And, Doc Rivers was behind this guy, Ben Simmons. Can't take him out. He's a great defender. But how bad does it hurt you when a guy can't hit free throws at the end of a game?
Ask Shaq.
That's arguably the most important part of the game at times.
They used to bench Shaq at the end of games just so that wouldn't happen. I remember that.
But that's arguably one of the most important things are those free throws down the stretch because those can extend your lead by a couple points that make the difference between winning and losing at that point.
Those are backbreakers when your guy's missing 2 free throws.
If you're up by 2 and you hit 2 free throws, now you're up by 4.
Oh, yeah,
now you're looking at a 2-possession game at that point. Yep. It's huge.
That's dagger. Yep.
It's a whole new game.
But then if you're Shaq, you miss both, then it's like, all right, you give the other team life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's just crazy to think that, Ben Simmons can't shoot to save his life.
Well, you can't have that against, if they go up against the Nets, for example, eventually. If that happens, you can't have that late in games against the Nets. You can't give them extra opportunities to come back if you're beating them at the end of a game by 2. And
I
Simmons
agree.
misses both. You cannot do that against a team like the Nets.
I completely agree.
So they have to fix that somehow.
It's a problem.
Yep.
So the Nets are up 10 or 9 with about 8 minutes left, so they should close out that series.
Yep.
Denver's up 18. Series tied at 2 with Portland. Denver, a team that everyone after the injuries figured never had a shot to do anything. They could probably end up winning the first round.
Does it feel like this first round's kind of like dragging on, like
a little bit?
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of feels like it's starting to drag on a little bit. It's like, man, like it feels like it should be the second round by now.
A couple of years ago, we were already in the NBA Finals.
Really?
At this time?
Yes.
Yeah. This
the
was
NBA Finals is June.
It was like a couple of years ago.
I guess it is June. I guess it is, yeah.
It was like 3 years ago, I think, when J.R. Smith had the infamous wrong way with the ball and LeBron screaming at him. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Right. But that was like 3 years ago already. And it's not about how long ago it was, but like that's very recent. We were already in that stage of the game.
Jeez.
Now we're going to be playing until like July at this rate, which is late.
Because July 1st is always when free agency starts for the NBA. Because
things are over by then. Absolutely.
July 4th, all these fireworks happen in the NBA, and obviously,
yes, of course,
for July 4th. But the NBA always has like this big show with all their free agency. So this is kind of weird how everything is kind of jumbled up.
It's late,
and it's weird. I don't like that the first.
I mean, I know the season started late, but it's just things are dragging too.
This is the way the NBA does the first round, though, because they want to put as many games on TV as possible. It's part of like the perk for making the playoffs.
I mean, teams are playing like 2-3 days apart.
Maybe the play-in games kind of made this feel longer than it is. Maybe that's the case.
And the season also started around Christmas, so that also.
But it's also, I mean, you're having teams play like multiple days apart. It's like ridiculous.
True.
I mean, you look at here's just in round one. I'm just going back to the Heat because they were the first game. They
typically
on
it's
Saturday,
every other day.
May 22nd. They didn't play again until the 24th. All right, that's 2 days. Fine. But then after the 24th, I don't think they played they played till the 27th. They waited 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand they're
traveling. I understand they're traveling, but still, you play every other day. You take the next day to travel, and then the next day is the game. That's how it should be. And I know it sounds stupid, but that shortens it considerably when you do that.
It is, but they want to get as many of these games on TV as possible, which is where a day like yesterday, the weekend where you could play 3 games.
Absolutely.
And have back-to-back or even 4 games like they do on Christmas. They have 4 games on TV. I don't understand why in the playoffs we can't play half the schedule.
Absolutely.
They don't want to do that. They want to spread it out.
They want to take as long as they can.
And it just drags. The first round is horrible in the NBA.
Yeah. Especially because these teams that have no chance of winning are just extending how long they physically are able to be in the playoffs still. And I put quotes around that because they're in the playoffs, but they're not really anywhere like, they're not going to go anywhere. It doesn't mean anything.
And then, what's going on with the Clippers-Mavs series? Anyone have a feel for that?
I have no feel for this series. I thought the
I'm so
Mavs
lost.
were running away with it, and then the Clippers would come back, and it's like, I don't know who's the better team.
I don't know. My problem is the Mavs are basically just Luka right now. And it doesn't have to be just Luka, but he's making it. It's just him. And that's fine.
Yeah.
He's taking over, and I'm loving every second of it. It is very fun to watch. And then the Clippers are just I don't know where they are because in some games they are looking great, and other games they look like they just decided we're not showing up. Like Game 4, they kill the Mavs, 106-81. I mean, absolutely crush them. You think, okay, they look great now. Game 2, they lose 127-121. Well, where the heck is that team that just destroyed them? What was that, right? Or Game 1, they lose by 10. Well, where was that team that just crushed the Mavs? What happened?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm lost.
Strange. I don't get it at all. I mean, I think that the Clippers should be the better team and they should win the series.
They are the better team.
And it's nothing against the Mavs. They just don't have the firepower the Clippers have.
Exactly. I mean, it's the same thing we say about most teams. It's usually one team is just that much better.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But the Clippers decided maybe not to show up for the beginning of the series. Who knows? I don't know.
I think I'm good with basketball for now. I think I hit all the teams. Anybody else want to bring up anything else?
Yeah.
No, I wanted to talk about that. I know we talked about like the fans doing dumb things. Did anybody see that fight at the Astros-Dodgers game in Houston?
No.
It was one of the dumbest fights I've ever seen. So this Dodgers fan and this Astros fan got into it. The Dodgers fan started beating the crap out of the Astros guy. Now keep in mind, the guy that was beating the crap out of the other guy, his daughter was sitting right there bawling right behind him.
Lovely. It's a good lesson to teach your kid.
She's like 3. She's crying. Also, the Dodgers fan that's beating up the Astros fan, that Dodgers fan's wife was trying to beat up the guy too. Oh, and she's pregnant.
Oh, good.
In addition to that, while their little 3-year-old daughter is sitting there bawling her eyes out, and they don't care. They just want to beat up this guy because he's an Astros fan. And some lady is like pulling the kid away, some random lady, because she feels terrible for this little kid. And it's like, it was one of the worst fan fights at games.
It's just stupid.
It's like, you have a little kid there, and the mom is pregnant, and her and the husband are trying to beat up some guy at a baseball game, especially during a pandemic. And
just grow up.
Games back. You just got to go back to games, and this is how you act.
I'm convinced they're going to stop letting fans in at this rate.
They don't deserve it, man. They don't deserve it.
I don't disagree.
It's much like when you're in school or when you have a sibling or whatever. Like, one person does something wrong, it's like you ruin it for the rest of us.
You're not wrong.
And fans are dumb, man. That was something I wanted to make sure I got off my chest because that was just sickening, man.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
But
these fan fights need to stop at games, by the way. These fan fights, just because you're a different team, they need to stop. Just stop. You're an adult. You're not in middle school anymore. Just stop.
I agree. But whatever.
That's it for me.
So we got a little NHL, and then I think that's it. So just first of all, some recaps of the first round because the first round is officially over. Some surprises, some not so surprises. First off, JB, I know you liked this. Islanders won the series 4-2 against the Penguins. They look good. They look good. They impressed me. I give them credit. They came out and played better than I anticipated. I figured they wouldn't be able to match up with the Pens, and the Pens are now in an odd situation because Malkin and Crosby are both not young guys anymore. They're 32 and 33 each, I think. So they're not young anymore. So it's kind of this awkward position of what do we do? But we'll see with that. So that was that. Caps, Bruins. I think we talked about it last week, but Bruins just beat up on the Caps, which I was surprised. I thought the Caps would at least I thought they'd give a fight at least. I mean,
I thought so too. But
I figured they were the better team overall, but I mean, they won game 1, and then Bruins just decided, we're done with you, and they won 4 straight. So 4-1. John, I know you're very happy about this. Nashville and
it was a heck of a series.
It was a very good series. It was better than I expected. But Carolina won 4-2. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
They look good. I told you they'd be good, but now they play Tampa. I'll talk about that in a minute. But
also, if you guys haven't gotten a chance to check out, speaking of Nashville, I interviewed the play-by-play announcer for the Nashville Predators, Pete Weber. Used to cover.
It's on our YouTube.
Yeah, it's on our YouTube. He still covers the Buffalo Bills, covered the Buffalo Sabres, the LA Kings. Guy's awesome, man. That was really cool.
It was a great interview, and I was jealous. I wish I could have been there, but hopefully we will be interviewing him again for the show. So fingers crossed on that we'll get to talk to him again. Anyway, so back to series. Panthers, Lightning. Lightning did exactly what I expected, which was beat the Panthers 4-2. I didn't know how good the series was going to be. I said 6 or 7 games, I think I said originally. So it was right about what I expected, but the Lightning took care of business. The Avalanche, I know I mentioned last week, they just crushed the Blues. It wasn't even close. My favorite series of round one by far, Golden Knights and the Wild, was awesome. Great series. Both teams put up a great fight, but Vegas won Game 7 on Friday, 6-2, took the series 4-3, and now they are into the second round against Colorado, which should be a good series, but we'll see. So far, not looking so good. And then this series, I think, was one of the ones. These next two series are the ones that made me the most upset. The Maple Leafs and the Canadiens. Maple Leafs are up 3-1 in the series.
Bye-bye, Maple Leafs.
And they do the most Maple Leaf thing, and they lose 3 straight to lose a series 4-3 to the Canadiens.
They're another one of those teams. Maple Leafs are another one of those teams, just like the Browns and Clippers. I never win in my life.
I mean, that was terrible. And then, arguably just as bad, if not worse, Edmonton loses 4 straight to the Jets. And mind you, in one of those games, they held I believe, a 3-goal lead.
I love it.
I hate teams sometimes. I really do.
I love these Canadian teams that are high-powered, high-ranked, and they blow it. I just love it.
Kills me. So second round started, though, this week. So Islanders, Bruins currently tied 1-1. Game 3 is this Thursday, June 3rd in New York. And New York has been rocking. Oh, it's look, I may not like them. You guys, it's well documented I'm not a fan. But, boy, Islanders fans have come out and just rocked it. It was awesome to hear them. As much as I don't like them, it was – you couldn't hear yourself if you were at the game, I'm sure. It was, but it's a very good series so far. John, you're not going to like this, but this is just the way it is. Hurricane and Lightning, 2-1 in the series currently from the first game. Lightning won that game. Lightning lead 1-0 and are currently winning 2-0 in game 2. We are in the third period. Game is almost over. So it looks like the Lightning might be taking a 2-0 lead. And I told you, John, I know the Canes are good, but I think the Lightning are they're more experienced. That's all it is. And I'm saying this now. If you give me the Canes in 2 years, I think they're a contender. I think right now they're really good. They just need a little bit more experience in the playoffs. And this is them taking their licks. I think that's all this is. It's nothing against them. I think they're a great team. It's just you got to learn to take your licks a little bit. That's all. I'm sure you agree.
Hurts my writing prospects. I like the Canes to be around as long as I can. Helps my writing prospect.
Well, there's a lot to look forward to with this team. Trust me. Avalanche, Golden Knights of the next series. The Avs lead 1-0. I don't know if you guys caught any of game 1.
Close.
7-1 Colorado.
Nice.
And Reeves should be suspended for the series, I believe. I think he should just be kicked out of that series.
I want to say
player.
I want to say it was a 7-game suspension.
He should. He's a dirty player.
Hold on. Let me look up his suspension real quick because I don't
seeing what he did against the Wild and seeing what he did against Avalanche.
His was a 2-game.
In my opinion, it should be a series.
I don't disagree, but
what he did against the Wild and then what he did against Avalanche.
The thing is, though, I'm of the belief in the playoffs you got to let things go a little bit.
Well,
but
what he did against the Avalanche was pretty dirty. It's pretty
to a safe extent. I say that because you can't let everything go.
That was Tom Wilson-esque. What he did.
I don't disagree.
So who's dirtier, Tom Wilson or him?
Tom Wilson. Wilson's one of the worst.
This Reeves guy, man, he's trying to make his mark as a dirty player. My goodness.
He went to the Tom Wilson School of Dirty Players.
There you go.
Is that full, like down near Full Sail University? Everybody, goes there.
There's actually classes at Georgetown University. I should have do that to Georgetown. It's a Catholic university. They may get mad.
And last series, Jets Canadiens starts tomorrow night. I don't even care about that series.
Canada's all messed up right now.
They're going to get knocked out of the playoffs. Whoever wins that series by
it doesn't matter.
Avalanche or Knights, like they'll get wiped away. So it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, but for whoever wins, it's nice, I guess.
The Avalanche, man, I don't know who's stopping them. They look insane.
I'm hoping the Golden Knights pull something out for game 2 because They are a great team. They're an awesome team.
It's hard to come back from losing 7-1, man. Oof.
It's one game, John.
But that's a
that was a shellacking.
Demoralizing. That's demoralizing.
I'll say this: the Avalanche might want to save their goals next time because I feel like this happens all the time. They go all in on one game, not them, just like teams in general.
Yeah,
they go crazy high score
baseball all the time.
And then the next game they can't score. The next coming game
beat 49-7 in football. That's what I see it as.
It was rough, but you never know. Game 2, it's a whole new game at that point. You never know. It's one of those things in hockey.
You can bounce back.
It's momentum, and it could take a turn like that tomorrow. And so that's tomorrow night, that game.
Yep.
Last thing I want to talk about, Vezina Trophy winners, or rather finalists, have been announced. 3 finalists were Golden Knights, goalie, Marc-Andre Fleury. Philip Grubauer, goalie for none other than the Colorado Avalanche, happens to be 2 Vezina finalists against each other, which is that's cool. And then Andrei Vasilevsky of the Lightning. All 3 are great goalies.
That's fantastic, even though Ned had a better save percentage, better goals against average, but that's okay. That's all right. And his team won the division over the Lightning, but that's okay. You put him as one of the finalists, even though Ned had all the stats were better than him and won the division over Vasilevsky or whatever the hell you call him.
The only reason
you put him over him.
I'll tell you why they didn't add him. I'm telling you. He only played 23 games. These other guys played nearly 30 apiece. All right, so nearly 40 apiece. No, and that's the truth. They're going to choose the guys, A, with bigger names, but B, guys that played a bigger sample size.
Yeah, you don't choose the guy with a 1.9 goals against average. Don't choose that. Yeah. And what, a 932 save percentage?
John, all three of them have, or 2 of them rather, have a 198 or lower.
Okay, well, Ned has a better save or goals against average than that, so 1.9.
Yeah, but he also played like half the games that some of them played. That's why.
Well, he's a rookie.
I know. That's another reason he's not in it. Andrei Vasilevsky played 42 games. Ned played 23.
Yeah,
that's a big difference. Sample size makes a difference to these people.
Still, numbers are numbers, man.
Yeah, 23 as opposed to 40.
Exactly.
It's cool. I mean, I didn't know there was a minimum number of games.
John, there's not, but would you rather take a guy with a 36-plus game sample size or 23-game sample size?
I'd take the guy with the better numbers.
I'd rather take the guy with more proven because he's played 10-plus extra games, so it's hard to judge.
Yeah.
Those 10 games, if he lets up enough goals, then his numbers fall out of grace.
Saying numbers don't lie.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
Games played. Anyway, I'm going to give you some stats. I'm not going to tell you who's associated with what. I'm just going to tell you games played, goals against average, save percentage, and I want you to tell me player A, B, or C based on just pure stats who you think deserves the Vezina this year. Player A, 36 games played, a goals against average of 1.98, a save percentage of 928, very respectable. The player number 2, or player B, 40 games played, goals against average of 195, but a save percentage of only 922. I say only because compared to the other players, it's not as good. It's still very good, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Player 3, 42 games played, goals against average is a considerable amount higher than the other 2 at 2.21, but his save percentage is middle of the pack at 925.
Yeah, well, I'm not choosing that guy. If you give me a guy has 221 goals against average, but or a guy has like
the other 2.
I'm choosing the guy as 195.
So who are you picking, John? A, B, or C?
The first guy.
First guy. So you're picking 198 goals against and a 928 save percentage in 36 games played. JB, who are you taking?
What was the third guy's stats one more time?
I'll go down the list again real quick. Player 1, 36 games, 198 goals against average, and a 928 save percentage, so under 2 goals a game. Player number 2, 40 games played with a 195 goals against average, also below 2 goals a game, and a 922 save percentage. And player 3, 42 games, so he played more, above a 2 goals per game average, 2.21.
221.
Yep, and a 925 save percentage. I know they're all very good goalies. Don't get me wrong; all of them are more than deserving of this trophy.
So the 925 was the highest save percentage, right?
928.
I'm gonna go with the 925 because he faced more shots to give up more goals.
That's fair. I'm personally going with John on this one, player number 1, just so we know who you picked, though. JB, it's a good pick. Don't get me wrong. You picked Andrei Vasilevsky, a great pick. Don't get me wrong. I like it. 42 games, though. So, again, sample size makes a difference. More games, goals against average goes up. But the reason I would have gone with player number 1, here's what's important. His stats are what are most important to me, and they're the most even and consistent. He has the second best goals against average, right in the middle, and the highest save percentage. So for me, compared to all three, he had the best stats. That was Marc-Andre Fleury, who, if he were to win the Vezina, would be getting his first of all time. And he is very deserving, I think. Philip Grubauer happens to be the guy nobody picked. 195 goals against average, but a 922 save percentage.
By the way, Ned has better stats than all three of those guys.
Except for games played.
I'm just saying.
Except
has better stats than all them guys.
Except for games played. That's the only thing he's missing.
Just saying.
And we're just saying.
We're just saying.
Better stats. He has better stats than all of them.
No, he doesn't, though.
Games.
He doesn't.
In less games.
It's less games, so the sample size is different, which is why I said, even for Vasilevsky, who played 42 games. He even has
a higher save percentage.
Yes, but you're going to have a higher save percentage on less shots. If I face 100 shots, you face 40 shots, you're going to have a better chance at having a higher percentage. Well, because if you're good against those 40 shots.
For being a finalist, if there's not a minimum, if like a minimum is 20 games or something, if the minimum's half the season, then what's the problem? You know what I mean? Like, what's the problem? Unless there's a minimum that says, got to play at least 30 games, then that shouldn't matter. Him being a rookie shouldn't matter.
I don't think him being a rookie has anything to do with it. I think it's just the lack of games is a little bit of a problem for him.
Then they should put a minimum qualifier on there.
There might be. I don't know.
Put him on there.
There very well could be. I don't know that there is. I admit I don't know.
Yeah. So.
But I don't know.
It's cool.
I don't see anything.
That's all I got for getting snubbed for.
Here we go. Is given to the goaltender who plays a minimum of 25 games for the team, allows the fewest goals, serves the function of the Vezina. So he didn't play enough games.
That's typically 25 in a regular 82 games.
It doesn't matter.
What's the qualification in a shortened season?
It doesn't matter.
So
the
that's
rule
25,
states 25 minimum games.
Right. That's in an 82 game season. So you have to put the same percentage as however many games this was, 56? Is it 56?
It doesn't matter.
Well, you have to put whatever the number.
That's like, John, that's like talking about the no-hitter. When if it's 7 innings, it's all he could play. He can't do anything more about it. Then that's a no-hitter. Same argument. There are rules. No, your argument for that was the rule states 9 innings no matter. No, you said that the rule states 25, 9 innings no matter what. This rule states 25 games minimum no matter what.
For a shortened season, they would have to adjust it.
What about, okay, I could say the same thing about a shortened game then.
Look, no hitter doesn't count. You already know how I feel about. You already know how I feel about no hitters. I don't need to explain myself.
I know, but it's the same thing. If they're not adjusting for a shortened game, you're not going to adjust for a shortened season. It's the same thing. He didn't meet the minimum requirement. These other goalies had absolutely no problem. They all met it by at least 10 games. He didn't.
Well, I'm gonna see if I can figure out what the qualification is in the NHL with the shortened season, because there's got to be an adjustment. There has to.
There's probably not. Because the truth is, 56 games for a goalie to play half the games is bad. Goalies play more than half their games a season. So for a goalie to be up for the Vezina, should be able to play half of the games for this season.
The reason he didn't play over half the games is because they had 3 goaltenders that they liked, and they would rotate throughout the season.
Okay, well, there you go.
That's why they
Too
did
bad.
that.
Too bad.
Yeah, well, he got snubbed. He's the best goalie in the league.
Nope.
Just saying.
You must play in at least half your team's games. So there you go.
That's not half. 25 is not
25
half.
would not be half. 25
Well,
would be nowhere
that's
close
another
to that.
rule that apparently is in here. I don't know.
25 wouldn't be half in the name.
No, this is from 2015. I take that back. No, that's 25. That's 2015. That's forever ago. That's just wrong.
Yeah.
The point is, they said there's a minimum games. If he didn't make it, too bad.
I just think that there should be a scale, but
Well,
it's just me.
hey, I don't know what to tell you, John.
Yep.
Rules are rules, buddy. You know all about
write
that.
a angry letter about that.
You do that. Anything else, guys?
That's all I got.
How about some baseball, guys? We've neglected that.
Well, John, you're our baseball dude, so
I don't know. You're slipping, John.
There really hasn't
here's your
been.
chance to give it. Here's your chance to give it back to us. I mean, the Yankees are 1-6 over the last 7.
I said
really.
what I wanted to say about baseball. Baseball's been kind of. There's not really been a whole lot of excitement in baseball for my money lately. I just don't feel like baseball's really moved the meter lately.
Tatis with 16 homers.
I love Tatis, but I don't feel like baseball as a whole has really moved the meter lately. I feel like it needs to step up its game.
The Yankees 1-6, getting swept by Detroit over the weekend.
That's the Yankees. That's the Yankees' problem, man. Like, I already know the Yankees have a lot of issues. I told you that weeks ago. They have a lot of issues going into the season, and they're not a great team. They have a lot of firepower whenever it comes to their lineup. They have a lot of home run hitters, but they have a lot of holes in that team that they did not address. They spent a lot of money on Garrett Cole, which, and then they're not really spending as much money in other places, and they should address the starting rotation better. But
the rotation wasn't the problem.
I know. I'm just saying, like, in general, the rotation isn't the strongest, aside from Cole.
Sure.
It's not the strongest.
I got 2 updates real quick. I don't mean to switch topics. Celtics lost to the Nets, so Nets win in 4. In 5. They just won 123 to 109, and your Hurricanes lost, John.
I figured that. That's all right.
Just updates on scores because we're still live.
We'll go away from the home crowd, then we won't be as amped up, and then we'll be able to embrace being on the road, backs against the wall type of thing.
Not going to happen.
Games,
but sure.
And we get Game 5 at home.
Wow.
We'll win that.
Getting back to MLB. So.
They'll win Game 6, and we'll go to Game 7.
Just like the Heat were going to win, and then they lost 4 straight. Okay.
My team was the best team in the division this year, so.
That doesn't mean anything.
16 home runs aren't moving the meter for you?
It's just one guy. The season as a whole hasn't moved the
NL
meter.
West with 3 really good teams isn't doing it for you. The Cubs, who are playing like their A team right now.
I don't think
Patrick Wisdom,
I don't
who
believe
hasn't
in
hit
the
a home run
Cubs.
since 2018 has hit 4 in like 3 days.
I don't believe in the Cubs.
I mean, these are stories that are out there, John.
No, I don't like David Ross. I don't like him as a coach. I never
like
did.
Ross either, but
I don't think that Cubs.
None of this moves the meter for John.
Doesn't move the meter. Baseball
you should be talking about that, John. We need to be talking MLB.
Baseball needs to step up its game.
You know what it is? I think that the Orioles are on a 13-game losing streak, so why talk baseball? Is that what
I love baseball, but baseball needs to step up its game as a whole. It hasn't moved the meter right now. So,
okay, John. Apparently, John's meter is very hard to move.
Whenever it comes to baseball, I love baseball, but football takes the cake, and then baseball has to do a lot, and they're stuck in their ways, man. Stuck in their ways.
They're stuck in their ways. They're adding a guy at second base in extra innings.
I don't like that. I do not like
that. We know you
don't. The 3-batter minimum, 7-inning doubleheaders. Baseball is far from
you need to get rid of the shift is what you need to do. Then you'll make me happy. Get rid of the shift, then you'll make me happy. That shift needs to go.
Okay, John.
Wow.
You should not be able to shift. This is not softball. Get back on your side of the field. Till you do that, you'll be an unhappy man with you, baseball.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep, get rid of the shift. It'll fix hitting woes that everybody's complaining about.
So Jake, what's wrong with our Yankees, Jake?
Everything.
Their batting decided to go to sleep.
To get swept by Detroit, though, I mean, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That was all batting for me, though.
You can't do that. You can't get swept by Detroit.
I love it.
I don't disagree.
Love it. I embrace it. You getting swept, I embrace it.
Wow. I mean, I could deal with the losing to Tampa yesterday. That's fine. Tampa's won like, 15 out of 16.
Yeah.
You guys will get hot over the summer.
And we're in extra innings right now, so hopefully we can pull
top
this
of
one
the 10. Let's throw runners on base. Everyone get a runner.
This is like Little League.
It's
Everybody
like Oprah.
gets a try.
You get a runner. You get a runner. You get a runner.
I hate that rule so much.
What I think they should do is they should start at second in the 10th. In the 11th, we should start at third. In the 12th, you should randomly draw how many runs you get, just in case.
Maybe
just a deck of cards.
Maybe they could be like Javi Baez and just run back to home. And if you make it back to home and then back to second, whenever you make it all the way around from second to third to home, you get extra runs.
That was awesome. It was awesome, but pathetic all at once.
The strangest play I've ever seen in my life because there was 2 outs. If there wasn't 2 outs, I'd understand it. But there was 2 outs. What was wrong with that?
So did he touch home when he went back from first instead of touching first? Did he touch home?
Here, I got
somebody
to play.
Said
I'll play it for us real quick. Hold on, I got to play.
Somebody said he touched home plate.
I don't believe so.
Because if he touched home plate, he should be out.
I don't know. Well, here, let's watch it real quick. Hold on. I got it.
We don't own rights to this, by the way. We don't own rights to this.
No. This is MLB. They own that.
YouTube.
It's YouTube, exactly. So here's the play. He doesn't decide to just go step on first, which was the logical play.
He didn't touch the plate.
It also wouldn't have been a force out.
Why not?
Because there was only a runner on second, I believe, at the time.
Yeah, but at 2 outs, they touched first.
It's a force out at first.
Oh, he didn't touch. I'm talking about home plate.
He didn't touch first.
Yeah, he didn't touch first. I don't know why.
No, I'm saying he didn't touch. Baez didn't come back and touch the plate. Joe was questioning.
That's what I was asking.
Oh, well.
Because if he touched home plate, he should be out.
No,
I don't think he did.
His foot was in front of it. Why?
I don't think he did here.
Now, does that count as going out of the baseline when he?
I don't know.
When he does this.
No, he didn't touch home plate.
Out of the baseline.
Yeah, I don't know, but the run would have scored anyway.
I feel like that dirt spot should be out
because there was 2 outs. There was 2 outs.
I'm saying I think the run would have scored anyway because
the run doesn't count unless he's safe at first.
Yes.
Well, yes, I know. I'm saying I don't think he did that, so the run would have scored no matter what. Like I think they'd be okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying if he got in a run down, the guy scored, then he got tagged out, never touched first. Run doesn't count. So
I don't know. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I guess they're not calling it.
But was he out of the? I think he may have been out of the baseline when he went in that dirt area right in front of home plate, like that arc or whatever. If you saw him do that, he ran in that dirt spot. I think that's out of the baseline. Because if there was grass there, if they put grass there instead of dirt in that spot, that's out of the baseline. They would say he's out because you can't touch the grass. You can't walk on the grass like that.
Yeah,
it was just a horrible play all around.
Yeah, never should have happened. The first baseman should have just walked back and touched first.
All he had to do was touch first because then everything else gets
there. Literally just stand there in his way and say, okay, well, when you come to me, I'll tag.
If you watch the play, what I love the most is Baez called the runner safe at home.
I know. He was so excited.
It was the craziest play I've ever seen.
I've never seen anything like it.
Typical Steeler. Typical Pittsburgh type of thing,
All he had to do was walk back and step on first. That was it.
Bad news bears type baseball.
That it is. That doesn't move the meter for John. Apparently, that play doesn't move the meter.
That play is just so stupid.
John,
it's enjoyable to watch, but it's so dumb.
Coverage next week, John. We need some baseball.
Well, baseball needs to start doing exciting things.
It's after Memorial. Oh my God! Show the play again, Jake.
I saw that, but it shouldn't have happened. It's a stupid play.
Yeah, but it was still exciting.
If that's not the most
exciting
play we've
seen. It's a little league play. It's a little league play. A professional never ever should make that
Right, but
play.
that's what makes it so exciting and funny to watch because it's pathetic how bad the Pirates are, but it's amazing how aware the Cubs were on the play. It's a combination.
It's like saying somebody that gets hit in the junk in a video, that's great comedy. No, it's not great comedy.
It's funny.
It's funny, but it's not good comedy. That's not good baseball.
Right, it's not good baseball, but it's fun to watch.
Did you get your hockey puck on Monday, John?
Huh? No, we ate pulled pork with barbecue sandwiches. They're pretty good.
But that might be why he's cranky.
I'm not cranky. I just have very high standards.
Well, why don't we lower them for the show at least, so we can have more baseball to talk about? Because people want to talk about baseball.
I'm very critical. Very critical.
People love their baseball.
I love baseball, but baseball needs to step up their game, as I said.
It's after Memorial Day.
Step up your game.
Baseball time.
Step up your game. That's all I got.
Like the Heat.
Hey, this is about baseball. It's between me and baseball. Baseball and I. It's between baseball and I.
You need a nice medium rare filet mignon, John.
Well,
now we're talking.
Filet mignon. Rare. Get out of here. Throw that in the trash, man.
Oh my God, the most tender steak in the world. What are we gonna do with you, John? With a little potato salad, some broccoli rice.
Oh. You don't like broccoli and rice?
Oh, broccoli's disgusting.
Jake, you're killing me here, Jake.
No,
broccoli and cheddar and rice? Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, no.
Who doesn't like broccoli with some cheese sauce on it? Ooh,
I don't like broccoli, period. End of story.
A little macaroni salad. All of a sudden, we got
to come on. Now you're
all of a sudden, everybody's watching. We start talking about food. We go up to 6 people in the numbers. See what happens? Baseball and food. Look at that.
Did you guys have anything special on Memorial Day? Anything special foods out of the ordinary from your well done steaks or well done burgers, well done dogs? Did you have anything else different besides that?
Because it was
no. I'm talking about the fans that are watching, not you guys. I know how you like your gross food. I'm talking about our fans that are watching. If they had anything out of the ordinary, I'm curious.
I don't know,
but. I had pulled pork sandwiches. I didn't expect that, but actually it was pleasantly
I didn't know
surprised.
Pulled pork was part of Memorial Day tradition.
I didn't, but I loved it. Enjoyed it.
It makes sense to me though. I can understand it. It's still that barbecue, genre.
Yeah.
So
I could eat pulled pork sandwich anytime, man.
I agree. It's
not opposed to that. Corn dip, amazing corn dip. Debbie says. See, I like me a good. I like the dips. I like is like the hell of a good dip. Like for my chips, ooh, I like that. Like Martin's hell of a good dip. Ooh, that's good.
Guacamole.
Yeah, guacamole, disgusting. Throw that in the trash.
My God!
Did you say holy guacamole?
No, not holy guacamole.
Throw it in
the
trash.
A real guacamole.
You gotta make it at home.
You either make it at home or you get it from a good Mexican restaurant.
Yes.
Yuck. Get that out of here. Get that.
You don't like guacamole? What's wrong with you?
No.
Do you like avocados?
No.
Well, there's the first problem.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff.
Wow.
That's gross.
God, you're killing me, John.
You got problems, dude.
Well, I knew that.
You like salsa at least? I mean,
I hate salsa.
So what the heck do you have your chips with?
I just told you. A hell of a good dip.
But what is that?
You don't know what hell of a good dip is?
I've never heard of it.
What?
Oh, it's not that good.
It's amazing.
It's horrible.
It's like French onion dip.
There's so many better brands. There are better brands of French onion dip. And
no, hell of a good is the best. You're gonna get
it. Is not. It is the worst.
It's amazing.
It doesn't sound that great.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Like I'd probably rather go
JB.
I'd probably rather go for a spinach dip at that point.
JB's,
and that's good.
I had the most amazing spinach dip on Saturday night. We'll talk about that next week. It was unbelievable. It was so good. I'm going to tease it for next week.
What about good nacho cheese sauce? You got to get a good nacho cheese sauce in there for your chips.
Yeah.
No. I like it mild. My cheese sauce. I don't like it. I don't like any spicy things or anything like that or anything out of the ordinary. I like my regular plain cheese whip cheese sauce.
Ew, cheese
That's
whip?
really good. Cheese whip. It's really good. Come over to my house. I'll give you some. It's fantastic.
What, are you just getting like from a can?
It's a jar. It's a jar.
I don't want a jar of cheese, you disgusting monster.
It's fantastic.
If I want nachos, I'm going to take some fresh grated cheese. I'll grate it myself.
No.
Melt it.
That's too much work.
John, it takes 2 seconds to melt cheese. It's so easy.
2 seconds too long.
So, were the side dishes better than the main dish this weekend for you guys, or the main dish better than the side?
Oh, well, of course, the pulled pork was the best. I mean, that's fantastic. And then I ate some carrots, and I was like, eh.
I always feel like the main dish is good, but the sides are what make or break it for me. Always. Because if you give me a burger with like garbage potato salad, it ruins the experience. I got to have that good side. Always.
So Kayla says buffalo chicken dip. Yuck. I don't like anything buffalo.
How do you not?
I don't like anything buffalo. I told you this. Get buffalo out of here. I don't like anything buffalo. I don't like the Buffalo Bills.
I had a good buffalo chicken dip this weekend.
I don't like the Blue Jays playing in Buffalo because I don't like the Blue Jays. So get anything buffalo out of my face. Get out of here.
Wow.
Go on it.
John, Jake, getting back to you. Side dishes are the most important.
Absolutely.
All right, so we talked about the spinach dip. I had the best potato salad. It was a
Yeah.
great weekend for side dishes.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of buffalo dip, I had a great one. Oh, it was so good.
Oh, man.
It's basically, John, it's basically pulled pork with chicken.
But anything that has to do with buffalo,
hot sauce is delicious.
But anything that has to do with buffalo reminds me of the Bills, and I don't like the Bills, so get that out of my face.
Problems, dude.
The Buffalo Bills, that's my problem.
What do you have against the Buffalo Bills?
Everything. Same thing you have with the Cowboys.
Until you bring Mookie Hawkins on here to debate him about it, I don't want to hear it. I don't. Unless you're
He's a busy man.
John, I may have just received
this level.
the greatest text of all time. I need to read it out loud to the two of you. My girlfriend, who happens to be watching the show, texts me,
chicken dip girl.
And in reference to John, says, and I quote, "a flavorless human being."
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And she's not wrong.
I'm still searching for my soul, so when I find my soul, I'll let you know.
John, the flavorless human being.
I try. Oh, look, I'm a simple man. I'm like Leonard Skinner. I'm a simple man.
You got problems,
wow.
Dude.
Thank you. I try.
You are a flavorless human being.
Thank you.
I'm out of things right now, but hopefully we'll talk some baseball next week. That we're into June now.
We're getting close to 4th of July foods.
That's another good. It's similar to Memorial Day stuff.
No. Way different.
Yeah.
Way different.
No.
Way different.
It's still a barbecue.
No, way different. Whoa, Jake. Whoa. You're about to make this show go on 2 hours longer.
And dogs. Absolutely.
If you want to stick around for 2 more hours, let's have at it. 2 more hours. Add it on to the
You're going to tell me you don't have burgers and dogs on 4th of July.
Don't start this conversation because it's going to be
It's just a simple yes or no question.
It's going to be 3 hours and 47 minutes before we're finished. It'll be 12:30 at night by the time we finish this up.
No thanks.
Don't start this.
I got Kayla. We're not talking about hell of a dip, though. We have to get the right bread.
The hell of a dip is French onion dip. And it's
but there's
other brands. There's other brands that make French onion dip.
Hell of a good is amazing.
Hell of a good is garbage.
You're
French onion.
Get that out of my face.
Certain brands, garbage.
Knock my dip. Brands, get so out of here. Knocking my dip. Knocked my cheese dip.
Yeah, because you get John,
you're
getting cheese from a bottle, basically.
That's okay.
That's disgusting.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't need to be doing work.
Only things that should come from those kinds of containers are like
manufacturers
Nutella,
do the work for
peanut butter, a jelly, or a jam. Those are cool to come from those. That's what those are meant to come from.
I don't do jelly. I don't do jam.
The question is, John, are we barbecuing the day we have our game?
Of course, we have to.
Well, hold on. Kayla did not get an invite yet. Kayla's invited as well if Kayla wants to come along and be part of the cornhole game.
To have this kind of in like a park that has a barbecue.
An open venue.
But you can do it at the back of my house. You can do it at the back of my house.
Yeah, but then you got a home field advantage.
I got a
and even though I'm on
yard.
your team, That's not fair to JB.
I got a gigantic yard in the back of my house. You can do that.
I practiced over the weekend, and I was perfect as usual because I'm not losing.
I was practicing too.
We should have a game of Debbie and JB versus Kayla and Jake. We should make sure we have a game like that.
Wow.
We need to have that game. It has to
John's already backing out of this game. John, I thought we were partners,
I'm saying on the side. On the side.
He's already backed out.
In addition, we need to make sure we have that game because I'll be the ref.
You've conceded that you've lost. I love it.
Oh, no. We're going to play a lot of cornhole. We're going to play a lot of cornhole. We're not just going to play
You can't back out on me, dude. You're my partner
I'm here.
This.
But you also need a game with your girlfriend. I can't let that go by the wayside. You need to play a game with her.
I think she knows she is. As much as I know we'd lose because she's not very good.
You got to be confident in your
John, she just texted me and said we'd lose. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
She knows we'll lose. Confidence in that than that. Got to be confident in everything you do. I am.
Yeah, so confident you're already backing out of the game.
Listen,
I didn't back out.
I am convinced I will win. I will have the best
Bring it on, JB. Bring it on. All I hear is the talking, but I haven't seen any of this practice.
We've settled that I have the best partner. I have Debbie, right? That's what we said last week. She's on my team. John, shut out.
You got
4 games to none. 4 games to none.
You got Jake
like the Heat.
I'm trying to point.
Jake and I who are all stars.
You see that? I'm pointing at the little camera up here.
Bring it on, Babe Ruth.
0 wins.
Bring it on, Babe Ruth.
0 wins.
JB, you see that 0 in your eye? That's how many wins you'll get.
0.
You're right. 0. You get 0 wins. Correct.
I win. You lose.
It's gonna be 11.
You lose.
We'll even live. We'll even stream it from our channel.
Somehow we'll stream it with you guys.
We'll stream it from our channel. That's what we'll do.
You lose. He wins.
You lose. Loss.
I like how we're learning how to point on camera. This is great.
When it's all said and done, it will be a fun day.
It will.
That is for sure.
And there will be 2 members of Sideline Sports that will lose.
Just remember, JB is taller in person than you think. Guy's like 6'5" in person. Maybe
and John
like
is shorter in person.
Yes, I am.
I'm exactly what you expect.
Definitely am. I would say you're probably like 5'9".
Maybe
5'9". Yeah.
6 foot.
6
That's
foot,
all
really?
I'm gonna say. That's all I'm going to say.
Bring it on.
You guys pick the day.
Look, I think I'm just going to go on a limb and say Debbie's overrated at cornhole. Going out and saying it. Going out on a limb.
Yikes.
Wow.
She talks a big game, but a little bit overrated. That's what I'm going to go on a limb and say.
Shots fired, John. Now you're taking shots that I wasn't even going to take. I mean,
I wasn't going to.
I'll make fun of JB. I'm not going that far. I'm not going to make fun of fans here.
You're the fan that's not going to throw the popcorn.
I'm not going there.
I'm going to throw the popcorn.
I reserve my jokes for my own team.
I already threw it. I already threw out the popcorn.
You notice when you said Jake and Kayla, I didn't go after Kayla. I just said Jake was going to lose.
Just got to make.
Well, that's because they didn't sign the pen and paper that match is going to happen.
Yeah, because it only happened because you were backing out, John. You're trying to back out of this agreement here.
I would never back out. I'm not a quitter.
I don't know about that.
I don't back out anything. I don't quit at anything.
I like the trash talk. Well done, boy. I like it. I like that a lot. That's good.
Oh, well, this is the longest show we've ever done. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Oh, when they're good, they just go.
They just exactly.
I think I'm good. Anyone else got anything to add?
I think
that's it for me.
All right. Well, let's go around. JB, where can they find you?
So before we start, we can find me tomorrow night, special NBA Carousel. Because of Memorial Day, it'll be on Wednesday tomorrow at 8
I totally forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me.
No worries. JB _ the program on Twitter. The program, which should be back in about 2 more weeks. Then, of course, the NBA Carousel, which I produce. The NFL Carousel, where I cover the Chargers. Here with the 2 losers at Cornhole. And everywhere else I may choose to show up. You never know where I'll be.
You never know.
John?
Then you can find me here in Sideline Sports. Make sure I point right. You can find me on Cardiac Cane. Soon I'll be writing articles on there, but I'm an independent contractor and a contributor on there. That's what I'm deemed as. That's what I have to refer to myself as. So that's what I am. Cardiac Cane.
The best part of Cardiac Cane right here.
Absolutely.
Yes. So you'll be able to find my articles soon on there. Find me at Sports Arena on Monday nights and Wednesday nights at about 10 o'clock Eastern time with Eric Wilson, Alex Fleming, and all those good folks. Then you can find me NFL Carousel in the fall, covering the Ravens on there. Then NBA Carousel, I cover the Heat on there. So that's where you can find me in the Blue Hawks 13 on Twitter.
Well, you guys can find me on Twitter at Jake_Malik. More importantly, you can find me here on Sideline Sports, and you can find me and John beating JB and kicking his butt in cornhole. And I'm just going to say this now, gentlemen. I may have to start going to practice and videotaping me practicing to show you, JB, just what you're up against, and show John what his partner's got up.
I don't even need to practice. You give me 2 throws before the game starts, and I'll beat you. That's it. I don't need to go videotape
2 weeks
nothing.
from now. 2 weeks. I want to see video proof of how good you guys are. I'll bring you video.
Happily.
No. You're not going to study my strategy. No. You find out game day. You're not the Patriots. No.
He's trying to pull a Bill Belichick.
What is it? I was going to get you to do it willfully. It was going to be a perfect play.
I wasn't
trying to like.
I said we just exchange film here.
Nice. It's like high school football. We'll send you your film. You send me yours.
We'll do it live on the show. We'll watch it together.
There you go. And everyone will see how great I am.
That's a good idea. You could see footage. We could share it and show footage.
Exactly.
Share our screen and see everybody's kind of,
Exactly.
I'll make sure I do about 15 takes to make sure I get the
perfect one. Exactly.
Of course, you got to show the right one.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Last thing, you guys can find us on social media. Instagram and Twitter is at Sideline Sport 1. YouTube and Facebook, just look up Sideline Sports. You can find us wherever podcasts are found, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it is. I think that's it. I don't think I'm missing anything, right?
I think that's it. It's been on the bottom all day.
Yeah.
All day long, guys. That bottom red ticker, better than ESPN over here where it shows you where you can find us.
This is true.
Sports news anywhere.
That's true. Yeah, true. All right. Well, if that's it, then we will see you guys next week.
True.